My point was basically N.W.A. was used for the era that we're in now. We're in the era of destruction. We're destroying ourselves as a hip hop community, period. We got teenagers out here killing each other in every state, every urban city, over hip hop music, over tweets, over social media. So that's my point. And none of this existed before the FBI got involved.
Right. Right.
Wait. Are you saying that N.W.A. got the Federal Bureau of Investigations to get involved?
They got
Hoover. Yeah.
They got
you
their
right, they did.
They been doing
that's
that.
What we do on the West Coast. We push that line and we let everybody know you and you and
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
Recently, legendary rapper Special Ed was on Drink Champs, where he made some controversial comments about the rap group N.W.A. Special Ed believes that N.W.A. is the rap group that introduced the age of destruction to hip-hop. Alright, now of course, a couple MCs from the West Coast had something to say. One person in particular was Crooked I, also known as King Crooked. He responded to Special Ed via TMZ. Another rapper by the name of Exhibit also had something to say about Special Ed's comments. So before we get into what the Dogg Pound had to say to Special Ed directly, let's check out the snippet from his Drink Champs interview so you can hear exactly what Special Ed had to say about N.W.A.
Wu-Tang was dropping knowledge and positivity.
Right.
You know, N.W.A. brought the age of destruction.
Damn. Jesus Christ.
N.W.A. brought the age of destruction to our children and our culture.
Wow.
Period. Hey, I respect all of them as men,
right,
but as the art form, and you want me to speak on the art form, I'm gonna tell you what it is. That's where it started.
Wow.
That's where the agenda started, and that's where the destruction began.
Now, yesterday, both the Dogg Pound and Special Ed went on IG Live to clear the air about Special Ed's comments on N.W.A. introducing the age of destruction to hip-hop. All right, now, of course, for the past couple of weeks, a lot of MCs on the West Coast, they were very offended by what Special Ed said on Drink Champs. So, of course, this conversation had to happen. So, y'all know how we do, man. Let's check out this clip provided by Dogg Pound Records so y'all can hear exactly what was said between the Dogg Pound, Special Ed, and a few other people that were on the IG Live as well. All right, now I'll catch y'all afterwards with my commentary. All right, let's get right to it.
They put their own headlines. They put their own headlines.
The narrative.
Right, like did N.W.A. ruin hip hop? That's not what I said. And my point was basically N.W.A. was used for the era that we're in now. We're in the era of destruction. We're destroying ourselves as a hip hop community. Period. We got teenagers out here killing each other in every state, every urban city, over hip hop music, over tweets, over social media. So that's my point. And none of this existed before the FBI got involved.
Right. Right.
Wait. Are you saying that N.W.A. got the Federal Bureau of Investigations to get involved?
They got
Hoover. Yeah.
They got
you
their
right, they did.
They been doing
that's
that.
What we do on the West Coast. We push that line and we let everybody know fuck you and fuck you and fuck you and
yeah, but this is the other thing, though. This is the other thing, though.
Right.
We the Crips and the Bloods, cuz, the Mexicans. Don't be mad at us, though, cuz. We ruined something like ruined hip-hop. We took hip-hop to a different world. N.W.A. took hip-hop up top. I love you, big bro. And I love you.
First of all, I love all of y'all. And I said I respect them and I know them. And this ain't got nothing to do with defamation of character. This got to do with me pointing out when things change for us.
I heard you say that.
Things change for all of us at that point. And it brought the age of destruction, which we are in now. We are in the age of destruction. I ain't say they out here bashing up this and doing that and doing that. I said they brought the attention of the government.
Right.
And there was already an agenda. As we know, the FBI dismantled and destroyed the Black Panthers. They assassinated Malcolm X. They assassinated Martin Luther King. So what you think they're going to do to us? We low-hanging fruit.
They sending us all to jail already.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. And then now everybody out here snitching on each other. Everybody out here killing each other.
GMOs. The food you eating is deadly. Fucking artificial chicken. They been trying to kill niggas.
Exactly, and we know this, and we ain't talking. I wasn't talking about the whole of history. They asked me a simple question. They asked me Wu-Tang or N.W.A. I made a joke about Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is for the kids. Ha ha, that's a joke. And then I spoke on the historical significance of N.W.A. in our culture. I mean, that's basically what it is, what it boiled down to. When they got that letter, they promoted it. They ran with it. They made it into like the tool for them to be on top of the game and make money.
Right.
That's the fact. It ain't no. I love Dre. I love all of them. You know, Q, whatever. Like it ain't nothing. You know, disrespectful. And I said that. I said I respect them.
See, in our mind as elders, we was like, okay, I know Ed. I fuck with Ed. We got to get him on the phone because we got to straighten this out because the attack is coming from the West on Ed, and I know Ed because we done hooked up. We part of this whole, unifying this whole thing. See how they separate that shit, Ed?
That's what we getting back to right now.
Yeah.
The energy, nigga. Right, exactly. This has brought the need for this conversation because the minute something goes wrong or somebody says something that you don't like, it's automatically New York niggas, West Coast, West Side, East Coast.
Right.
And it's not about that. It's about what is happening to all of us in our community. I ain't even talking about just the West Side and nothing. I'm talking about Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Atlanta, Florida, New York. I'm talking about everywhere. We are killing each other.
So, Ed, do us this favor. Since you got us on here, what would you like to say to our homies and our artists that wants to attack you and say what they're saying? What do you want to say to them, man? From, just to put it back in context so we can take that back.
To them that
right?
They misconstrued my message.
Right.
My message has been edited by side publications that's not even Drink Champs.
Right.
It's separate magazines.
Got it.
Their own headlines.
Right.
Their own narrative on this. But what we gonna do is we're gonna have our own as us. As leaders of the culture.
Yeah.
And we're gonna discuss this openly.
Okay.
Amongst all of us, East Coast, West Coast, West, South.
Yeah.
We all coming together. We gonna come to the Grammy Museum in LA.
Okay.
And we all gone.
There it is.
Right.
Okay.
But see, that's an edit from them.
Yeah.
They need to watch the whole interview in its context.
Right.
They asked me about their questions. Like, what do you prefer?
That's why I showed that, cuz.
Right.
Because this is what they do.
That's what they do.
Everything is a narrative. Hold on, cuz. Everything's a narrative.
Right.
They can twist the narrative. The narrative could work for you or go against you.
Well, now we want it to work for all of us.
They took that one piece you said and changed it into an entire different narrative.
Right.
Like Special Ed is smashing N.W.A.
Yeah.
It's like, cuz everybody's responding to it because that's all they see.
Right.
That's all they heard.
Well, we got to fix that, cuz, and that's the bottom line.
I spoke for 2 hours.
Yeah.
About my organization and what I do out
there.
there.
We got to fix that.
We are. This is what we're doing. We setting this up right now. I just got off the phone with Craig Nobles and
okay. Okay.
I spoke to Mark Watson.
Big A, who the fuck is Craig Nobles?
Craig Nobles our guy, man.
Yeah.
For education, always correct errors. Peace. Try to do those of the word. And now that I've heard you say what you said, now that I'll start my correction campaign.
Right.
For anybody that come off yada yada that's not knowing, because my job as is a civilized one is to teach those that's not civilized. So
Yeah.
I hear I'm be like, nah, I talked to Ed. What had happened was, and we gonna get it right.
Yeah.
And that's RBX.
Because see,
RBX right there. We don't work together. We gonna get it right.
And see, Ed.
When the little homie
Ed.
come at me with that special ed,
Right.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not what we doing.
But what I want us to do all together now is all together come to this conversation.
We are, Ed.
A platform.
We are.
We are Ed.
Hook up
We
the
control our own
We
narrative.
got the
Here come,
right there.
put together that move you just said at the Hip Hop Museum. They're gonna donate to us. Make sure you put our organizations on that so we can let them know we're united, unified, all in one accord. And we've been doing this for over a year or so now, okay? Because I don't want it to get too out of hand. That's why we put this call in.
Hey, this is real talk. Check this out, cuz. Yeah. You with us. When it comes to the West Coast, you with us, nah, man. We can't have that.
We can't have that. That's what I'm saying. The media is
RBX,
to make it look
Daz, and that
hold on the Dogg pound game. Y'all want to fall back on.
You're a part of us, cuz. I'm sorry, my nigga. We can't have that, cuz. We can't have no misconstruations about anybody affiliated with this circle, cuz, from the east to west, anywhere. I don't give a fuck where they at, cuz, if they with us. And right now, you're a hot topic, cuz.
Right.
But especially we trying to heal all this, and we've been trying to work on it for a year.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me show you how
I'm gonna tell the truth.
You're doing so much. Hold on, RBX. You're doing so much positivity.
That's my dog. Nah, Ed. I had to think about it though, because like you said, sometimes when these people get interviews, they control the narrative and the edits and the way that it comes off, and it don't always come off correct. So you gotta get the artists who did the interviews side of things before you make any conclusion.
Yeah, but see, Nori didn't do it though, cuz. If I'm not mistaken, this is Drink Champs.
Yeah.
And Nori didn't do it. Once it's public,
I don't think Nori had nothing to do
people
with that.
can
The
take
people got it and ran with it.
I know, but somebody grabbed it, cuz.
A magazine out of Miami did that.
Yeah, they did, cuz, and that's my point.
They did.
They did. Look, cuz, look, hey, look, cuz, reality time.
Yeah.
Once you do it, it becomes public. Anybody can grab it and fuck us.
Right.
Okay? So they tried to fuck Ed off. The key.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, y'all. That was the Dogg Pound on IG Live with Special Ed to get him to clear the air about his comments he made on N.W.A, introducing the age of destruction to hip-hop. All right, now, in this situation, a lot of MCs from the West Coast were triggered the moment they seen some of these platforms, you know, running the headline of N.W.A, right, ruin hip-hop, according to Special Ed, right? That's not what the man said. He was making an observation on what he believed happened in the culture, right? He's seen a shift in the culture the moment that N.W.A came on the scene, right? But of course, with some of these platforms, you know, they're going to frame it in a way to trigger that engagement. And this is what happened, right? Now you got all these upset MCs offended at Special Ed's comments, not just because he's a legend in the rap game, right, that a lot of people looked up to, but also understanding that, you know, it can be taken as disrespect or a shot to N.W.A and everything they contributed to the rap game, right? So to see this conversation take place on IG Live, man, listen, you got to give it up to all parties involved. But one thing I will say is it reminded me of this interview that Crazy Bone, right? Everyone's praying for Crazy Bone right now. For those who may not know, he's in the hospital dealing with his lungs. He's having a health issue at the moment. Everyone is praying for Crazy Bone. But it brought back this interview he did years ago where he exposed this secret industry meeting that took place in the 90s that pretty much predicted everything you're seeing right now in the rap game. And it made me want to put this whole video together because, again, I don't think Special Ed meant any malice in his comments. He was just making an observation on how, you know, the rap game shifted the moment that N.W.A came on the scene. And now what I'm gonna do is, provide y'all with this video so y'all can hear exactly what Crazy Bone had to say. And I want y'all to leave your thoughts and comments on the initial comments made by Special Ed in regards to NWA, introducing the age of destruction to hip hop, as well as, your thoughts and comments on Dogg Pound's conversation with Special Ed, and also what Crazy Bone said in this video, this interview he did years ago. Let me know your thoughts on all of this, man, in its entirety down in the comment section below. But that's all I got for y'all today. My name is SenseiRip. Till next time, peace.
The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell the story.
We gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not explaining.
Look, that black van.
So look, so he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, Jake.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistols. No,
for real though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who receive funding from the government based on the number of inmates. Mm-hmm. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. Mm-hmm. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague, who opened up the meeting earlier, hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And, no, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we'd want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this person later on, he said, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. A few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry.
Okay.
And he'd say he just over the years he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality
over 2 decades.
He sat back and was like, wow, they really pulled it off.
Yeah.
They really pulled this off. He was like, they were told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messages in their music.
No positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and put out.
So if you wonder where Brand Nubians went, where Poor Righteous Teachers went, where Public Enemy went, where KRS-One went, and all sorts of groups like that was talking, even Queen Latifah and Moni Love and those,
everybody.
It's a back door.
Yeah, anything that was harmless, fun rap, anything that had a message in it had to go.
Yeah, that's why if you even notice though,
we talk about that all the time.
Even be brief with it, you know what I'm saying? Those charms that came out like maybe 1988, 89, the African charms, those they lasted for about 2 years and they disappeared real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Now, after reading all this, you know, it actually made me feel a few different ways. The first emotion I felt was shocked, because I was definitely taken back by this, just knowing the level of evil that's involved by even thinking of a plan like this. You know what I'm saying? The second emotion I felt was anger. Anger because it's not enough for them to exploit our culture and make all the money off of it. Because let's keep it real, the industry has never been favorable towards the artists. Never. But they're going to go beyond the artists to get the artists to influence and lure in the consumer, which they knew at the time were mainly minorities.
Yep.
In other words, keep promoting gangster rap so that the youngsters will be influenced by them, which in turn will incite them to want to act like them, and it's a very good chance they'll end up in their prison.
Yeah.
So they're getting paid twice. They're getting paid from the artists they signing, and then they're getting paid from the people that these artists influence that goes to prison trying to be like these artists.
Yeah.
So they making a killing.
A killing.
They're using the music business to promote their private prison business.
My man is right there talking that right. 1988, a man named Tom Beasley, man. That's the co-founder of the corrections for Corporation of America. That's the CCA. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French. I'm reading this thing right there real quick. It's the CCA. So in 1988, he founded that, and this is in straight concert with the same thing. So it's like the music business. You do what you do on your side, and over here with the corrections facilities, we're gonna do on this side and now in 1970 there was 500 prisons. You know what I'm saying? Only 500 prisons in the United States. To this day, there's 1,700 prisons right now. That means big business. I'm talking about that done flippled over. You know what I'm saying? If flippled over is a word, because they're making a lot of money off of these things per inmate. You know what I'm saying? So getting with the same thing of the music, it all went hand in hand, and we just partying at the same time.
So us as the artists is the tool they use.
Yeah.
The music is the bait. Yep. And the young consumers are the prey. It's a cold game.
Rec and Rip. Hey man, it's your boy Scruncho, man. Listen, 9306 Hartford, Parkville, October 7th, me, Reggie Carroll, Knockout Kings Comedy. Hey man, listen man, we coming out there, man. I'm coming to do what I do. You know who I am, 5-time BET All-Star, school dancer Kevin Hart, Boston up with Snoop Dogg, Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon, season 1, 2, 17, 18. B. Diddy, Bad Boys of Comedy, assistant pimp for the movie How High. Come on, man, I ain't new to this, I'm used to this, man. You want to come see the King of the Underrated? Come, October 7th at Sully's Comedy Club, man. I might even do 2 shows. October 7th, man. Me, my boy, Cody, really, Reggie Carroll is the knockout king of comedy. I ain't knocked out shit, nobody, you know, I'm just going there to, you know what I'm saying? I can. So I see y'all October 7th, man. Get y'all tickets right now, man. Tap in. It's your boy Scruncho. Follow me at the Only Scruncho. And hit me back. I'll hit you back, man. I love all 37 of my fans. I'm gone. Rec and Rip.